people are different. We talk about this from the standpoint that some are going to be more risk tolerant than others. You're likely to see that those who are entrepreneurs and start businesses are much more risk tolerant because they are going off on their own and they're betting on themselves, and they're saying that I will forego any safety net, any level of security in terms of working for anybody else. I'm going to then challenge the market on my own and bet on my own decision making, right? That requires a degree of risk tolerance. Now, in terms of those, let's say, trial attorneys that leap for more difficult cases versus perhaps those who do not, again, it really depends. I find that generally there's going to be people that want to win big while others want to lose small. And you find that those that are risk tolerant are much more likely to leap at perhaps more challenging, larger opportunities. And when they succeed, they look like heroes. Unfortunately, there's the other side of this where the subsegment that people often don't talk about, it is the ones that tend to be more risk tolerant and place bigger bets are also the ones that are more likely to lose and lose their ass entirely. So there are merits to both. At the same time, you could argue on the other side of the equation, those that don't ever make that attempt, that don't ever make that leap, that don't take on challenging and tough cases, that don't take on very difficult and large, ambitious problems, never have the opportunity to make the climb, right? So they play defense as opposed to offense, trying to minimize risk and saying that I will try to only bet on things where I can have extremely high outcomes of succeeding or guaranteed outcomes of succeeding and thereby limit all of their upside. So meaning that if you're one of these people that you have this fear of loss, of being wrong, of making mistakes, of trying something and failing, of looking stupid, any of that, well, you're not going to make a whole lot of progress. You're probably going to stay in place. You're not going to grow. You're not going to develop, and you're probably not going to make a huge impact. At the same time, if you're one of these YOLO, like you only live once type people where you're saying, let's go, let's bet the farm, you could either get lucky and somehow succeed through that, or you may very well end up completely broke and everything crumbles and you lose everything. I think it's about finding a middle ground there where I find that the best balance is you want to be challenging yourself. You want to be able to say yes to new opportunities and perhaps approach things that you may have uncertainty around of saying, well, I don't know how I'm going to approach this, but one, I could appreciate the upside. It could have a meaningful impact. But at the same time, the downside is not so high that if I were to lose or if things were to go wrong, I lose everything. I mean, you don't want to bet your entire law firm and your business on any single decision. I mean, that would just be very poor decision making, especially if you have people who rely on you, that you support. It's finding that balance of challenging yourself. And as you do this, I think you can build a level of perhaps confidence in yourself as you're developing your skills and capabilities and taking on more and more challenging opportunities.